Hi, I'm going to show you how to do a repair on a Woodford Model 22 frost-free outdoor faucet. And I ran across this because my faucet, which is not, it's supposed to be freeze-proof, but it froze for some unknown reason. And I'm going to show you, I contacted Woodford to see if they had a repair for this, and they didn't. But through a little bit of creativity, I was able to figure out how to repair the faucet. If you've got a faucet similar to this, and the reason mine has such long tubes on it is I have 12-inch walls. I have an insulated concrete form house. So your tubes may not be this long, but it'll work either way. And what happened, and if you do have a failure of this faucet, what you'll notice when you turn on the water, you'll have water either flowing into your house or maybe running on the outside of the house. And then you know you've got a pipe that froze and burst. And what you need to do, the first thing you need to do is go inside your house, and there should be a shut-off valve somewhere. You need to shut the water off in your house is the first thing to do. Once you've shut the water off inside your house, you can open up the faucet valves on the outside to let any water that might be in the pipes drain out. After you've done that, in my case, I had insulation. These pipes went through the wall through some PVC pipes, and then they had shot some expanding foam insulation into the PVC to insulate these pipes. So I took a hanger from inside the house and kind of punched through a little bit and broke off any of that expanding foam that might be holding the pipe in place. So I did that to kind of loosen it up to make the removal of the faucet a little easier. And then there was a couple of screws on the outside of the house that I had to remove to get this faucet assembly out. Once I had done that, the next thing I had to do was take a pipe cutter like this, go inside the house, and I had to cut both these pipes. This is for a hot and cold water faucet, so this is supplies hot and cold water to the outside. Yours might only have just a cold water, but anyway, you have to cut the pipe on the inside of the house so you can pull the assembly through so you'll be able to work on it. So once you've cut the pipes, then you can, and loosened up any foam or anything else that might be holding the faucet in place, then you can remove the faucet. In my case, even though I tried to loosen up that expanding foam, it was still rock solid in there. And what I ended up doing to get this out of here was I used it's called a farm jack, and I put it on the outside of the house, and I wrapped or tied some web straps around this faucet spigot, and then hooked it to the jack, and I braced the jack against the house, and I actually had to jack it out to pull this assembly out of the house. That worked for me. You might have to figure out another way to get yours out if it's tight in place. But once I got the assembly out, I was able to see the area, and I've already repaired it, but I'm going to show you. I was able to see where the pipe had froze and burst. And I had to first do a couple things to prepare it before I could do the full repair. And I'm going to show you on just a sample piece of pipe. This little piece, this is 3/4 inch pipe, and I put just a little silver line on there, and that was about the size of my the area that was burst when I removed the assembly. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get that pinched down so it's flush to the pipe, as flush as you can. And you got to be kind of careful because you don't want to compress the pipe or anything. So I just used a piece of scrap plastic. You could use some wood lath or anything that you might have laying around to protect the backside. And then I took a channel lock pliers and put it underneath, and then I just gently went along the edge and compressed the blowout where the damage was to the pipe. So I just went along there and just pushed it down so it was just barely flush again with the rest of the pipe. What I did then, and you'll notice if you have this problem, that there's a couple of dimpled areas, and I took a file, a metal file, and I filed the area of the damage until it was flat and flush with the rest of the pipe. Once you've done that, what you need to do then is take your coupling that you're going to use to repair. Now this is just a pipe coupling, and there's a little dimple or nipple halfway through. And what you're going to have to do is find one, and they make them without that little dimple. It's just called a slip coupling. And what you need to do before you do anything else is take either a pipe brush, for cleaning pipe, or you can take some emery paper that you can use for cleaning copper pipe before you sweat it, and you need to clean off the entire area around the damage, and then all the way to the end of the pipe where you're going to put your slip coupling on. If your damage is bigger than what a coupling size is, you can also buy, at stores like Menards and other home improvement stores, you can buy, it's called a pipe repair coupling that comes longer, maybe 4-inch, 6 inches, or 9-inch long. So if you've got a damaged area bigger than what a normal pipe coupling can cover, you can buy one of those other sections that are longer. But what I did then, you clean that all off so it's ready to be fluxed and soldered. So you need to clean this pipe completely, either using the wire brush cleaner or some emery paper. And then once you've done that, take a Sharpie marker and just make a line in the areas where your repair is going to be, so that you know when you're sliding this on, you know how far to go with your repair, because you won't be able to see the damage once it's slid over the damaged area. So you just make a line there so that you know where your slip coupling has to go to, and then you start to put the slip coupling onto the pipe. And like I said, this one has a nipple, so I won't be able to slide it on all the way. But the other thing you'll notice, because this damaged area is going to be not totally round and totally able for this to slip over it, once you get to a certain point, you may not be able to, by hand, slip that coupling down any further, because it might be being held up. Luckily, copper is a relatively soft metal, and what I ended up doing was I put it on as far as I could, and see if I can kind of show you on something like this. But anyway, I put it on as far as I could, and then I took a hammer, and I took a crescent wrench actually, and put it on both sides, and set the jaws of the crescent wrench on the edge of the copper pipe, and then I took a hammer and just tapped it down. And then the coupling I was able to tap it all the way down. You can see it right here, to cover the area where the damage was. And I had a black Sharpie line right there and right there, so I knew exactly when that was centered on the damaged area. Before you do that though, you've got to take some flux, some soldering flux for copper pipe, and you've got to make sure you clean out the inside of your coupling, and totally cleaned with sandpaper or whatever, or the scraper, the wire scraper. Clean that pipe off and then wipe it out so it's clean. Then you have to coat it. You take a little brush, and you coat the inside of your coupling and the outside of your pipe with flux, and that'll actually lubricate it and make it a little easier to slide the coupling over your damaged area. So once you've cleaned the pipe, fluxed the pipe and the coupling, and then tap the coupling down to cover the damaged area, then you can take your solder and your torch. And if you've never done this before, you need to do a little reading on how to do this, but you heat up your coupling and then you solder your joint. And once that joint is soldered, both ends of the joint, your pipe is completely sealed. Now, one thing I didn't mention, and I need to tell you, before you do any soldering of any of this, and actually maybe even before you do any of the compressing of the damaged area with your channel lock, you want to you certainly want to remove the stem assembly before you solder, because there's some rubber parts in the stem assembly that could melt if they're left in there while you're applying heat to the soldering process. So to do this, all you got to do is pop off this little cover, take the screw off, and then pull the handle off. I've got this handle off on this side. Once you've done that, you could use a wrench to loosen the packing nut. I'll take that packing nut off. Now what you're going to end up having in here is some packing material or a packing washer. And you'll have to use a little knife or something to pry that out. And once it's pried out, you can unscrew your stem and then pull that whole stem assembly out. And like I said, there's some rubber parts on there, so you want that out before you do any soldering. So once it's all done, put the stem assembly back, going back in the house, and you're going to have to use a different coupling. You put the pipes back together, solder these like you did this one here, and you're good to go. Good luck, and I hope you found this very helpful. Thank you.